But let's jump into the next topic, and we're going to be talking about Kevin Love. Reports are coming out that Cleveland are going to be starting to look to move the 31-year-old power forward. Kevin Love just started the first year of a 4-year deal worth $120 million. He will make $28.9 million this year, $31.2 million next year, $31.2 million in 2021, 2022, and then $28.9 in 2022, 2023, and then he will be a free agent at the year of 35 years old. 2023-2024 season, he will be a free agent. So let's talk about K-Love, what they can get for him, what his value is at. I don't think any of us are shocked right now that they are thinking about moving Kevin Love with his age, with his contract, and where this team is at. I think it makes sense that they would be thinking about moving him. And he is a guy that has won a championship before. He is a guy that has been an All-Star before. He's been All-NBA before. And right now, he is healthy and playing in games, 31 minutes, and has played 17 games for the Cavs. So that is always great to see after he has played 60, 59, and 22 in the past 3 seasons. So let's talk about his value. Where would you put Kevin Love right now in the trade market? Is he the most intriguing trade option for teams out there?
I mean, it's not that he's intriguing. I think the whole reason that this is coming up in my mind is we're getting to that magical deadline of, everyone who signed this free agency period on December 15th can now be traded. And now that the Cavs actually have more options, hey, let's open up talks now about a week before that deadline, because teams are probably not going to talk about those players months in advance.
I mean, there's also the fact that there was some rumors about a veteran on the Cavs talking shit about their coach's play styles.
And I would assume that's K-Love.
Shocker.
The funny thing, though, and this is MVP history, this is now the 3rd time in 3 years we have talked about him being traded. 2016, we said he should he be traded. Earlier this July, we said, can the Cavs find a trade partner for Kevin Love?
Yeah.
So this has not been something that is just like, they're going to trade Kevin Love. We've been assuming it for years.
Absolute ass contract. I get why they felt obligated to give it to him for his time served, basically. But
thank you for your service.
It was just an awful move. All right, LeBron left. Let's hold on to Kevin Love. No, you rebuild. You are not the Heat. You cannot continue on a guy who has consistent injuries. Yes, he's good, but he can't be counted on. You have to rebuild. This is a team that needs to bottom out for years and come back up.
This is what I will say. Go back and look at the when Kevin Love signed this extension, because I'm pretty sure that we did a podcast the day of or the day after.
Yeah.
So there was a Kevin Love topic, and I think it was you two.
It was with Bill. Did they make a mistake?
Was it with Bill?
Yeah, it was with Bill.
So go check that out and see what they thought. I remember that being a very positive topic. I remember that you guys saying that it was a smart move. Was I wrong?
To resign him, it was just the money that they gave him.
I don't know about that.
If I remember, I think it was a positive segment.
All right.
But I do agree with you, because right now he's 31 years old, has had massive injury issues throughout his career, and it's unfortunate, but he isn't a guy that you can rely on, and with that type of money, it could just be something that absolutely cripples a team. And right now, he's been a very effective player. 17 points per game, 3 assists per game. He's always going to be grabbing boards for you. Right now, he's at 10.7. He's shooting efficiently from the outside, 37.6% on 6 attempts. He's shooting well from the field as well, 44%. He's great from the line, 88%. So he's not a bad player. It's just, if you trade something for him, you have to take on that massive contract, and you have to take on the possibilities of him getting injured. So what type of teams would be interested in a Kevin Love right now? And I think people automatically think Portland, because they're like, they don't have a big man. But, Yusuf Nurkic is going to come back this year.
And that's why you look at the Whiteside contract, and you go, Whiteside contract, Kevin Love contract are fairly similar. So it seems clear, you swap those two. You throw them a little bit of bait, whether it's one of their recent picks, like a Nasir Little. I hope they don't give up my boy Anthony Simons. Maybe a pick, something in that boat, but to move the needle.
So if they came to you and you're the Trailblazers, and they would say Whiteside and Simons for K-Love, would you do it?
Oof, I don't want to give up Simons.
Yeah, the answer is no.
But if I give up Whiteside and Little, or Whiteside,
I would say no.
and a first.
Maybe a first.
I would-
maybe a lotto protected first.
Yeah,
Because right now it's not like the Trailblazers are above 500. But they've also played a ton of away games this year.
they're gonna get there. They're on a roll.
I just worry that right now this, what's the point of me trading someone that could help my future for Kevin Love, who might not be playing for me in 3 years, and I'm going to be paying $30 million to over the next 3 years? Like, that doesn't seem smart.
It's the last ditch stab to go for, this is the finals or bust kind of a deal. I feel like, seriously, the signing Carmelo Anthony. You've got Dame, CJ, Carmelo, Kevin Love, Nurkic. That's formidable. I as surprising as that sounds, I did not expect to say that out loud. But that team can score on you. That team has toughness down low. They've got 2 good guards. They've got 2 wings who can score at will. Kevin Love's a great rebounder still. No matter what else you say, he's a floor spacing 4 who can rebound like the best of them. So I think that roster right there puts you in the top tier of competition. Now, whether they're going to get burned by LeBron James or Kawhi and PG, that's up to them to figure out how to go against. But I think that puts them in the discussion.
Well, and how does the Rodney Hood injury change what they're going to look for?
That's
because
great.
Like
great
Kevin
point.
Love coming in, is he with Rodney Hood gave him a spark? Sometimes off the bench as a scorer. Is K Love going to fit the things that you're now going to lose because Rodney Hood got injured last night and he's out for the year?
I want to say Hood was starting for them.
Well, I mean, early on, and then I know playoffs last year.
He
mentioned,
started every game. Yeah, he was
But
there only 3.
that
was the problem.
In the playoffs last year, did he start every game?
No, he was coming off the bench.
Okay, that's what I'm.
But he had
thinking
only
about
been
that.
on the team for 20 games at that
Yeah.
point.
Yeah.
Like he was not.
No,
synced in.
we're just asking
We're just
if he
saying
was
he was
starting.
on
Don't worry.
off
Relax.
the only problem
we're not
is-
bashing Rodney Hood.
No,
He was
I'm
shooting
just saying.
45% from 3. He was killing it this year.
Yeah, I'm just saying. Like the problem is that you can't have can you have Melo and Kevin Love out there together because basically you're tying those 2, and then you're going, okay, if we have Nurkic at the 5, that means that you have to play someone at the 3. I think you're right. Bring up Rodney Hood. They might need to focus on a 3 because you can't play Melo at the 3.
Because I mean,
He is not quick enough to guard 3s.
we questioned could they even play Melo out there, and the answer seems to be yes.
I mean, he's lethargic, but he gets the job done offensively.
I mean, the thing with me is even just talking about this, with the Trailblazers, I don't know if Kevin Love is worth that risk because I think there could be a more solid of smaller moves that you can make with the picks that you have that could help your team in many different ways. You can get a 3 that can be a great defender and be your Al-Farouq Amino that you did lose to the Orlando Magic this offseason. You can go out and get a guy who could be a good rebounder for cheaper than giving up a guy that if Simons is the price or Little's the price, what's the point in giving up those guys, especially guys that are so raw?
They're potential future building blocks.
I don't think that makes sense. And it just seems like a desperate move for Portland. And I understand Dame is getting older, and I understand that Dame is, wants to win, and I love Dame for that.
Yeah.
And I know that Portland wants to win as well. I think last time they won was 1978.
They're always on the outside looking in. It feels like they get to the playoffs. They're good, but they're not good enough.
And I think it would just be a desperate move, and desperate people make desperate decisions, and desperate decisions never really seem to pan out.
I mean,
when was
Carmelo Anthony. That's as desperate as you get.
But what did they give up?
Nothing.
It was a non-guaranteed $900,000 contract. They
Right.
could do that.
And
That's not that desperate because it's not stupid.
Yeah. No,
What is he doing?
He's got the team that I was thinking of up on his screen right now.
Who
Don't
is he
say
thinking
it.
about?
The Phoenix Suns.
Okay.
The Phoenix
what's the
Suns
deal?
would be a great choice for Kevin Love because they can take, and they've got a bunch of movable pieces. Tyler Johnson, contract-wise, is the highest, but you look at Dario Saric on that team, you look at the fact that they've been rotating through bigs. Once Ayton comes back and Baines is healthy, there's your 5 locked up, and you can bring in Kevin Love at the 4. You can move on from Frank Kaminsky, who I know has had a couple of performances.
Give me the starting 5 again? Because you're kind of all over the place.
I'm just dropping. That's all their bigs right now.
Okay.
So
you
got that grouping of bigs. I think you can move on from Dario, Frank, one of those 2 guys. Give them a young pick, maybe Mikal Bridges, and move on from that package to get Kevin Love. So you have Ricky Rubio, you have Devin Booker, you've got Kelly Oubre, Kevin Love, and Ayton, and that's a disgusting 5. And this is a team that is swinging above their weight early this season, and when you add Ayton back in, now that Rubio's healthy, I'm 100% in on that's a scary team in the playoffs. I don't know if they're going to win anything, but they are scary.
You could do K-Love for Tyler Johnson and Frank Kaminsky. I think if you threw in a first-round pick, I think that would do it. And I think, obviously, if you're the Suns, you have to protect that. Make sure it's a lotto protected one. And even then, I would probably protect it for top 20 because, I don't think that the Cavs have that much pull here. What do the Cavs have in keeping Kevin Love?
No, I mean,
what are they
you're
gaining?
just holding them hostage.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So there's no point in there's no leverage that they have in this situation. He's an old guy on a bad contract that consistently gets injured. So getting a first rounder for them in any position is a plus for them. Tyler Johnson is then off the books in a year. That frees up cap space. Like literally, this is a move, and I know Kevin Love is still a talented player that can help a playoff team, but I don't think they're in a position right now to go out and get a first rounder. I want people to realize the value that Kevin Love has, and it's not that high because of the contract that he signed to. For 4 years, he will be stuck on your team. He will be dead weight at some point in that contract because of his injury history. I hope he stays healthy, but I really see that I really see that he's going to be dead weight at some point. So if I'm the Suns, a young team that's up and coming, don't make a stupid move. Trade Frank Kaminsky, a guy that is not going to, Kevin Love can help you more. He could slide into that Frank Kaminsky role. He could play next to DeAndre Ayton. Ayton's not a great rebounder, although he is big right now. Maybe that has changed. He wasn't a great rebounder in his rookie year. Maybe he's developed it over his sophomore year. We haven't been able to see him because of the suspension. But even then, he helps DeAndre Ayton in the rebounding category. And he helps spacing as well. Ayton was a guy that we thought could space. So far, we haven't seen it. But again, we haven't seen him in his sophomore year yet fully. And Tyler Johnson isn't the guy that's really helping you out
not moving
either.
The needle.
So if you trade away that first rounder, I don't think it's really going to be a killer for you. So that makes a lot of sense. But protect the hell out of that first rounder because don't lose anything of value. Don't even lose a top 20 pick because we've seen that those are guys that can turn out to be very valuable picks. The guys that we're talking about right there in Portland, Anthony Simons and Nasir Little, those guys were both in the 20s. So if I'm the Suns, if I'm Portland, I'm not giving up anything of value for Kevin Love because he could be a guy that can absolutely bite your team in the ass when you're trying to build. If the Suns try to give anybody money at some point throughout these next 4 years, it's going to be difficult because they're going to have Kevin Love's contract on the books. What were you going to say, Ricky?
I think you're too low.
With me, it's first off, there's a lot that you said that I want to unpack here with the Suns. One, where you said top 20 protected. No way it's top 20 protected because if I'm the Cavs, I'm not making that deal with Phoenix right now being the 16th pick. Odds are I'm not going to get that pick. Lotto protected,
but at some point you're going to get it. It's top 20 protected now.
I think the Cavs want to make this deal now because they want to pick in this year's draft.
I agree.
They don't want it to be projected down the line. They want one, and the Suns were that one team for me because you got to think way back to the beginning of the year when we talked about James Jones and what he wanted for this team. They always talked about we're going to bring in veterans. We're going to bring in guys to help this young team. Well, now you're sitting here, oh shit, we might be a playoff team. Who can help this team, even if it's from the veteran knowledge of being in the playoffs, than Kevin Love.
Yeah, so but here's another question though. Wouldn't you say it's an overreaction right now that a team that started off extremely hot and they're playing well, they're moving the ball well, they're playing great. But let's look at the Sacramento Kings last year. That was a team that was moving the ball well, they were playing smart basketball, but still they didn't have enough talent to become a playoff team.
They didn't have enough veterans to keep them calm down the stretch.
And yes, obviously Kevin Love's a player that, they also gassed themselves out because they're playing at such a high breakneck pace.
I get that.
And yes, Kevin Love is a guy that can bring stability to a team. They're going to get DeAndre Ayton back. There's a lot of ways that this Suns team could become a playoff team. But there's also ways that this team could absolutely fall off. There's another, there's ways that this team could not be a playoff team. And then this young Suns team giving up a first-round pick, especially a lottery one possible, would be absolutely stupid in my mind.
Dude,
I don't care what the
timeline every top
changes.
pick for how many years. I get it, James Jones, different person making the picks, but I think you have to go for it because
if you give up a pick now that you don't know where that is, what if it becomes a top 5 pick because of the lottery? Then what could you have gotten for that top 5 pick then? But I'm not saying young player wise, you could then trade it for a better asset.
But if I'm the Suns, I'm in the playoffs, so I'm not even I know where my pick will be.
But there's a very clear possibility that the Suns do not make the playoffs.
No, I know, but if I'm
right now, Portland's a team that's under 500.
I'm putting my Suns hat on. If I'm in the Suns front office, I'm making the move for K Love to solidify that we are not in the lottery. And if I'm not in the lottery, I know where that pick is. And if it's a outside 15 through 30 pick, if I'm the Suns, I don't need that pick. I need somebody who's going to help us in the playoffs. Like. That's the thing.
But it's not certain that you're making the playoffs.
But they're 10-11, and they've had stretches where they didn't have their point guard.
I know.
And they haven't had their star center. They're literally third in rookie of the year voting. DeAndre Ayton. And they've also had
Aaron Baines.
Aaron Baines.
Yeah, I know. I'm not saying
a game out of 500 with all of that. There is
Dave,
much to believe that we should go all in on this. That's my thought is. I understand there's a chance we don't make it, but that's the thing. You have to go in on we're getting a healthy Aaron Baines. We're going to end up with Ayton, who's now going to be super rejuvenated because guess what? He's fresh.
He's off diuretics.
He's off the diuretics. Not pooping anymore.
That's why I was taking it.
Yeah. And you're going to add in someone who can put up 15 and 10 a night, space the floor, shoot efficiently, move the ball around, play decent defense on the outside. If you add Kevin Love to this team, say that trade goes through, there's no way unless you go Tanya Harding on Ricky Rubio, this team doesn't make the playoffs.
I want to clarify that adding Kevin Love's not a bad idea.
Yes.
I don't think that Kevin Love adding him to a team would not help a team.
I'm not
saying that. I just think that the value should be clear on him. I'm saying
You're
that
so much lower on value than I am. I think that's the difference.
Well, let's talk about the value because right now I think Kevin Love can, if he was added to this Phoenix team, I would definitely think that they would have a significantly better chance to make the playoffs than they do right now. Absolutely. But if I'm a general manager for trading for Kevin Love, I see a guy that throughout 4 years I'm gonna have to pay $120 million. He's gonna take up, I think the cap right now. He would take up, I hate doing math at a podcast because, one, I'm not good at it, but he would take up 20% of my cap.
About a fifth, yeah.
A fifth of my cap over the next 4 years. How does that help a young team like the Phoenix Suns? So if I'm looking at that, if they're going to put a strain on my team for the ability to make moves, to fill out a roster, to fill out depth, to add a star, why would I make this move? And if it's for 1 year, right, to help my team make the playoffs this year, I don't want to give up that much because Kevin Love could be a guy that in year 3 of his contract, year 4 of his contract, be an albatross. He could be a guy that could put us in so much strain cap-wise that could hurt our team because he's injured, because he's not on the floor, because we can't play him when he's 33 and 34. I just don't want to put a strain on my young team that I wanted so desperately to make the playoffs in 2019, 2020. Where in 2021, 2022, this team with so much promise is now killed because of 1/5 of our cap being eaten up by an injured player.
You do it exactly because you have a young team, because you have Devin Booker locked down, you have Ricky Rubio locked down. Everybody else is on rookie deals except for Kelly Oubre, who you have to sign to a long-term deal after next year.
Yeah.
All your money is set to do this now. You go ahead, you pay the money now, and at the end of Kevin Love's contract, when you're down to that 1 year, if he's playing like Ryan Anderson basketball out there, look, at the final year, you can try to move him just for a 1 year soak, or you can, accept the fact that is. But by that point in time, you're going to have 3 years where you're going to have a clear window to compete in the playoffs in the Western Conference. And I think that is incredibly valuable for the Suns team. Because you have all that money already set and everybody else is on rookie deals. It's the perfect marriage for this team. It's the perfect time to add in a contract that big because you don't have to worry about it because everything lines up. You're not in risk of losing out on your young talent. They're locked down. They can't go anywhere.
Yeah, well, I mean, so if you added him to this team right now, I'm not minusing the. So it's I always. It's tough to figure this stuff out because so Tyler Johnson. So right now it would keep their salary cap around 120 right now for this year. Then going into next year, right now for next year they have 91 million on the books. His 31 would take you up to 121. Yeah. So next year you're already 121. You'd have Devin Booker, Kevin Love, Ricky Rubio, Oubre, Ayton, Kaminsky would be in the deal. Bridges, Johnson, Ty Jerome, Cheikh Diallo, Eli Okobo, and Jalen Leck. That would be your team. That would be your roster right now with 121. where's the moves going to be able to be made next year, right? Where are you going to be able to add depth to this team? I don't think that's going to be a championship contender next year. Would you? A Booker, Love, Rubio, Oubre, and Ayton team?
That's going to be a top 6 team in the West. And I think at that
championship team.
I think at that point you gamble. Like there's no, again, if you're not the Lakers, if you're not, the Clippers in the West, you're fucked anyway. Are you saying that nobody should play basketball for the next 2 years?
No, I'm not saying nobody should play basketball, but I
go for it.
But if nobody should play basketball, but right now in year 2 after making this deal, my team's already in a spot that it's like, well, fuck, we're not going to be beating the Lakers or Clippers.
You're locked into position. You look like the Trailblazers from a couple of years ago.
Where are the Trailblazers now?
I mean, last year they competed for the Western Conference Finals.
Did they have a chance? Just because you competed doesn't mean you're like. I mean, did you ever think the Trailblazers are going to make the
Conference Finals?
What?
I don't think there's any regrets about making the Western Conference Finals.
But right now we're still in a place where this
games away.
Right now we're still in a place where this team. We were just talking about them making desperate moves.
Sean, this is a team that hasn't sniffed the playoffs because they've just been a fuck up of an organization for so many years.
Okay, but
this is a move you make because this guarantees that you're going to compete for a playoff spot, if not make the playoffs, year over year over year. I think you have a 3-year window where you are locked into. We've got every reason to make the playoffs, so no reason to not make them.
That's on Robert Sarver. Sorry, your owner sucks. All right, that's the dude that had the money and bought the team.
That's the situation they're in.
About him all. Okay,
that's what I'm saying. You have to do this.
I don't think you have to do this. If you're ever in a move that you have to do, you're fucked. You're already fucked. Like you can.
Who's going to sign down there?
Nobody.
Who are they going to swing the money at and is going to come rescue them in
we've made this argument, and we already know that small market.
For someone who's
we
good.
already know that small market teams need to build through the draft.
They did. So, look how many picks. Okay, Cam Johnson, Mikal Bridges, Devin Booker, Jalen Leck, Eli Okubo, Ty Jerome, Javon Carter. Like there's all, and of course DeAndre Ayton.
Okay, and we look at all these teams. You're not going to be able. We're saying that you're trading away a first round pick because you guys don't want to protect it. Or do you at least want to protect it for lottery?
I think a lottery protected.
Okay, so right now you're not going to be able to add anyone in the first round. You're not going to be able to add a first round talent to this team next year.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
I don't think they have any other picks in the first round.
No, don't.
So there you go. So you're not adding anyone else. So your team is going to stay the same, at least because you're going to be very limited in the moves you're going to be able to make in free agency because no one wants to come to your team typically
Ricky Rubio did.
unless. Yeah, because Ricky Rubio was going to. You had to overpay. You had to pay a Phoenix price to get Ricky Rubio.
I don't think not having a draft pick is the end of the world because the only people that are up is Tyler Johnson who would be in that trade.
Let me keep finishing because right now that was only year 2 of his contract.
Yeah.
Then year 3, you're going to be because it's going to be a 31. Right now they have $78 million locked up, so that he would be around $101 million in space. So then you have Booker, Love, Rubio, Ayton, Bridges, Johnson, Ty Jerome, Eli Okubo, and Leck.
Yeah,
and
literally all those draft picks that you've had for the last couple of years.
Okay, but then you're then in a spot where you're then adding young players to a point where Devin Booker at that time is going to be then 26 years old. Mm-hmm. So you're going to be in a spot where you're going to have to fill in rookies. You can't sign free agents because you already said that no one wants to go to Phoenix. Kevin Love's going to be 33 years old on a $31 million contract, so you're not going to be able to move him away to then free up more space. I just don't think that this is a team that, yes, maybe you'll be 6th seed and 7th seed and 8th seed in the playoffs, but I think you're just going to strain yourself where this team, I think, naturally can progress into a playoff team. I don't think it's the right move unless you are protecting yourself in so many different ways. I think that Kevin Love can help this team make the playoffs, but I don't think it should be short-sighted to where you're going to hurt your team in any way possible. I don't think Kevin Love, is going to change this franchise for a massive positive. I think making the playoffs is a possibility with Kevin Love, absolutely, but I don't think it's going to be something that changes the franchise.
With this roster as is?
This year, no. But I think they have a better chance at making the playoffs consistently over the next 4 years without him than
That's my thing is who's going to put this team over the top? Because if you don't add in someone who has been a perennial all-star.
Stop. What's putting them over the top?
Kevin Love.
No, what is putting them over the top in your mind?
If you're saying they're not a playoff team without Kevin Love, I'm saying Kevin Love is putting them into the playoffs and meaning they're going to compete for the playoffs for the next 3 years.
Okay. I don't know if they're going to be able to compete for the playoffs next year because I don't know where Kevin Love's going to be at in year 3 of this contract. Mm-hmm. That's what I'm saying. So I'm concerned about Kevin Love in year 3.
Yeah.
The idea of Kevin Love being healthy on your team, that is something that is very worrying to me, and that's why I'm just iffy about making the deals.
For you.
What?
Ricky, your favorite 2 words. What's this league all about
Load
now?
management. Great.
Load management.
Okay. I
Managing the
still
load.
don't think that this is going to be something that even if you manage his load, laughs ensue.
Not even.
I don't know if he's going to be a guy that it's going to help because he could just.
You're making him sound like he's made of paper mache, man.
Dave, he's played like 100 games in the past 3 years.
I know. And
He hasn't even played a full, like near a half a season in 2 of those 3 years. Like I'm massively concerned about it, and you're paying $120 million to him over the next 4 years.
Yep.
Like that's why I think his value is so low. Can he make a team a playoff team? Yes, but how long can he?
It's a 4-year deal, man. You're crying over very little in my mind. I think that he comes in again. The numbers are there. He's an efficient shooter. He's a great rebounder. He can defend on the perimeter. All of these are things that are rare, and especially for someone with his size, and I get it. He's going to miss some games, but the fact that you don't need him out there every night, you don't need him to pop off every night, there's not a ton of weight on his shoulders because guess what? You've got a dominant scorer in Devin Booker. You've got a great down-low post scorer in DeAndre Ayton. You need him to be a complementary piece, and that's where we've seen Kevin Love succeed at the last time when he was that third guy to LeBron James and Kyrie Irving. Fat Kevin Love is dead. I wish the dream would come back. You and I talked about that.
Not. Kevin Love looks great. Shout out Kevin Love.
No, he looks great. He's a great-looking guy. But I mean, like the stat-stuffing Fat Kevin Love is dead.
I don't want to make this seem like I hate Kevin Love. I like Kevin Love.
Yeah.
I root for Kevin Love.
Yep.
Kevin Love is a fun guy to watch.
But you're saying his
him to
injuries mean
succeed
he
as
has
a
no
playoff.
value, and I'm saying he's worth
I don't
the
think
upside.
he doesn't have any value because you're still able to get a first-round pick for him. Cleveland, I don't know what this
You're crucifying me for giving up a lotto-protected pick here because
But I think you
that I
should
have no
protect it
options.
more. I think you should protect it more. I think you should be able to cover your ass in many different ways because I think we're just disagreeing on the value of him in the trade market. I'm not saying the value that he brings to this team this year is significant. He can make them a playoff team.
Yep.
I just worry about his long-term value that could hurt you when you are giving up picks. That's where I think.
No risk without
the other
reward.
thing too is just like if you do strain yourself over the next 4 years, he's going to be on this team since 2022, 2023. You'll have Booker for 1 more year. That is the only guy that is there beyond the Kevin Love days.
Yeah, well,
right?
I mean, you've got everybody who you draft as an RFA though. So like that's the thing. You've got we literally read off 8 names. Like
no, but I'm saying
Cam Johnson,
Dave,
Okubo.
stop. The only player at the end of Kevin Love's deal, because it starts this year, Cameron Johnson will end the same year, Ty Jerome will end the same year, and Jalen Leck will end the same year.
Yep.
The only player that extends past the Kevin Love era of that 4 years is Devin Booker.
Yep.
That's what I'm saying.
Yep.
So that is a guy that at 27 years old, that is the only player that will still be under contract for that year. So you have pretty much Kevin Love locked and tied to Devin Booker as of today. You have the only person tied to Devin Booker right now is Kevin Love.
Yep.
That is concerning to me because he's 34 years old, and that is your star player. That's all I'm saying. And I don't know if that's the right move for them long term because you do still have Ayton, you still have Bridges, you still have Cam Johnson, you still have
I think if we're being
Oubre
realistic,
as well if you want to extend him.
Ayton will be re-signed there. They're not going to let him walk.
Yes, but I'm just saying as of right now. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, well,
and I'm
it doesn't
wrong
make
in saying
sense.
that.
But it doesn't make sense because you're assuming we're going with no assumptions of I don't know. Should they extend DeAndre Ayton?
I'm not
it's a
saying
dumb
that.
question.
I'm not.
No, you're saying
I'm
on
not saying
paper
they're
right
not
now.
gonna
The
extend
difference
DeAndre
is
Ayton.
they're going to extend all the rookies unless they don't play. Like period.
Right.
The hypothetical 2023 talk doesn't make sense to me because that's not where you should be concerned. As a team who's struggled, as a team who's spent a ton of top picks and gotten nowhere, you spun your wheels. You've got to get Devin Booker winning because otherwise you're going to have the Devin Booker ego shit happen at some point.
I bet Devin Booker is salving to be the 8 seed.
I want to jump in and say this because
They're going to be a fucking 4 seed
Shut up.
if they get
We got to stop.
First
We
off,
gotta stop.
it's been nice being on this side of the argument, not in your shoes, Dave. Usually it's Sean
People are
and I
going to say
going
I
at
lost
it.
that argument. I don't give a shit.
No, I don't
Like,
get it. It's just nice to
no, I
sit
know.
back,
Ridiculous.
listen to discussion.
You're being ridiculous.
Well, the other thing I want to throw in there is that,
Love you, Sean.
would trading for Kevin Love show Devin Booker, hey, we're trying to win. We're trying to get you something. And you'd be locking in the contracts like Devin Booker's contract and K Love's contract. I believe K Love is 1 year less than Devin Booker.
Correct.
So you're like matching those up. For me, though, the deal is simple. I need a pick. We talked about the Trailblazers. We talked about the Suns. There's 2 other teams that I have that I've worked out trades for.
Sure.
I want to know what you guys think.
Yep.
The first one, a team that I think needs to trade for Kevin Love, is the Boston Celtics. Here's the thing, though. The trade that I've worked out is pretty much a straight-up Gordon Hayward when he's healthy for Kevin Love. The question is, if you are Boston, which first-rounder do you give up? Do you give up your own? Do you give up Milwaukee's, which right now are at the bottom of the draft?
Right.
Or is Cleveland going to say, nah, we want that Memphis one?
Of course,
because that's going to probably be a lotto. And if you're the Celtics, do you give up Hayward and that Memphis pick for K-Love?
I would not even give up Hayward for K-Love. So no.
Okay.
That's a non-starter.
Really?
Absolutely not.
The 2 injury-prone players?
Who's a better player right now?
The one who's not broken.
Which one is that, Dave?
Exactly my point. Exactly my point.
Gordon Hayward is less broken than Kevin Love is. Gordon Hayward
Hayward's on the
broken.
couch.
Oh yeah,
And
Gordon Hayward.
Kevin Love's
Gordon
playing,
Hayward has had
so-
two. Gordon Hayward has 2 freak accidents. Happen to him. Gordon Hayward's still a better player, and it's much easier to recover from a broken hand than it is a broken ankle. Gordon Hayward would be back and fine, and is a more productive player right now than he is. Boston's in a championship window. Gordon Hayward helps them right now more than Kevin Love does, and Kevin Love handicaps them for 4 years. If Cleveland wants to get him off and into Boston, they would have to give up picks. I don't see that being a fair deal, and Boston adding picks to that deal is ridiculous in my mind.
Yeah, I just see it where it's the reason why I throw it out there is
I thought of that team too because they need rebounding.
Well, and not just that, it's like with everything they got with Tatum, Brown, Walker, does adding in Hayward kind of create that logjam in the backcourt where then you can add the front court has not been what we expected from this Boston team. Hey, let's add a guy in the the Time Lord, Grant, like these guys that we thought would be contributing.
Oh, sorry, I think he's
Yeah, the backcourt is fine.
That's why I think you flipped them out.
Yeah,
loud.
would Hayward create the logjam, whereas Kevin Love, hey, let's help that front court that we.
I mean, they both play the 4 on the Celtics team, so.
They were
Kevin
able
Love
to figure it out, and I think that what you saw from the first games when Gordon Hayward was healthy, I think they would be absolutely fine with they're fine with Gordon Hayward coming back.
The other one is the Miami Heat, and I'm not in love with this because the Heat can't give up their draft pick because they don't have one in 2021.
Yeah, I think the first one they can give up is like 2025.
Yeah. And the trade would then basically be Dragic.
Nope, wouldn't do it.
It would be Goran Dragic
Wouldn't do
and
it.
either Kenny Olynyk or Myers Leonard, whichever one you want to give up.
Yeah.
And the only thing then, if you're Cleveland, it's like I wouldn't do that if I'm Cleveland because I'm not getting a draft pick.
Wouldn't give up Goran Dragic.
In that case, it's like if you're Cleveland, then I'll give up a 2021 to get a 2020. Then you're just flipping years. That was one where it's like the Heat could be a team that could use K-Love, but I don't see it working out because there's no draft pick.
I think they'd have to move a better piece to get him. I wouldn't give up Dragic. Absolutely fucking not. He, when healthy, is playing amazingly right now, and he's a reason they've been really successful because he adds scoring off the bench for them at an elite level. We're talking about former All-Star Goran Dragic here.
Yeah.
Sorry, Ben Simmons.
So what you're saying is
Jake,
you
looking
wouldn't
at you.
trade a bench player on a 1-year deal for Kevin Love.
Well, the difference is he's not a bench player on any other team. He's a bench player on this team because of their style of play. Kevin Love adds something that they desperately need in a 4 who can space the floor and play well. The problem, again, is Kevin Love's health going to be a concern long term? But this is a team that fucking loves contracts that are horrible and long term. I think that's a beautiful marriage for
So what
them.
I'm trying to say is you're kind of on the same track as me as the value is not there.
An all-star, a former all-star, and Goran Dragic, who
So is
he's
Kevin
the
Love.
perfect fit for this
Kevin
team.
Love has more accolades than Goran Dragic does, man.
I know, but right now Goran Dragic is playing really well, and I think he fits the team. And I think the question is, what value piece is there to move on from? I don't think you can do that because they're so limited with ball handlers. I think they have to value ball handlers higher because you're going between Kendrick Nunn, Jimmy Butler, Kellen Winslow, who has not been healthy for the entire season. Kellen Winslow's the wrong
Kellen
one.
Winslow.
Justice Winslow.
Shout out
Tight
Chargers.
end.
Shout out Bucks. Also, I think Kellen Winslow Jr. is like a murderer, so not shout out to Kellen
Yikes.
Winslow Jr., but shout out to Kellen Winslow.
Yikes.
That dude was a beast.
Yeah.
Yikes.
But yeah, Justice Winslow's not been healthy. So like that's the thing is, I think positionally he's a fit. I think value-wise you need to find the right pieces to move on from in order to get him in. I would love that, though, because it fits everything about Pat Riley and the Miami Heat.
You have any more final trades, Rick?
The only other team I saw is Complex had an article. They threw out the Nuggets, and I'm just throwing it out there because
They got
Sean loves
assets
the
everywhere.
Nuggets.
No.
Assets everywhere, Sean.
Nuggets and Jazz were the only two teams.
One, they would turn it around if they don't need to make a deal. The only thing they need is Jokic to fucking wake up. And two,
Maybe Kevin Love can teach him how to be thin Jokic.
two, they already have a great player in Paul Millsap who fits the same role, who's shooting like 44% from three already, is a great defender and a great rebounder. And the cool thing is, he's only on a 1-year deal. Keep Millsap. You're fine.
Is Millsap playing that well this year?
Yeah, he's been fantastic. The reason why they're not as good as they should be is because Jokic has been shit.
Yeah, wow, he is.
Jokic has been hurting that team, which is weird to say. Their defense has been killing it. Millsap's been killing it.
Yeah. They eventually have to move on from some of their pieces, though, because they're incredibly low in depth and not going to re-sign everybody. So I could see them pushing in on somebody. I don't know that K-Love is that guy, though.
Well, it reminds me of like what Soapy said, because the last thing I did want to bring up with this that we didn't hit is what it means for Blake Griffin.
Yeah.
Because I think the whole value thing is a team could look and say, you know what? We need that. I can give up less for K-Love than what the Pistons may be asking.
That's true.
And like Soapy brought up because I was throwing Blake Griffin trades at him, being a Piston fan.
Yep.
When I came along to the West, he threw out the Nuggets because he's like, hey, if they want to give me Michael Porter Jr. and some of those assets, I'll take it, and they can take Blake.
Here's the thing, though. Blake is a better player than K-Love is, and he's on a shorter deal.
Yeah.
More expensive deal, but a shorter deal.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. It's the
you're going to have to give up more for Blake Griffin than you would for K-Love.
But you have to give up less for K-Love, too, because his contract's so bad. And at some point, that contract is going to hurt you. I don't think that's what, like, you're not getting, like, it's great right now. If you're looking only short-sighted on the season, trade for K-Love all you fucking want. But you're not going to like him in 3 years. You're not going to like him in year 4 of that contract. That's all I want to say.
You're making that statement. I can't wait to look back on this in like 3 years.
Well, you didn't say the magic words.
Bet?
No, I bet.
Oh, I bet.
was going to say, I bet Kevin Love.
What am I betting? Like, I don't want to bet that this guy's going to suck at year 4. I want him to be good. I just want to be
He's already made the transition from being a download banger to an outside shooter. So I think
he did that like 7 years ago, and he's still getting hurt.
I think that it's just, he's got to build himself up a little bit. And I
what
think,
do you mean by that?
Like, he's got a game that will translate well to old age. That's what I'm saying. If he can get there, like,
does he have the
like
body,
he's
though? I'm not saying his game is not going to translate. I'm just saying, does his body, though? Because he's been shooting this amount of threes since 2013, 2014.
Yep.
I mean, he's been like this since he was 25 years old, and he was still getting hurt. Like, he was playing 77, 75, 77.
Those are fine.
And
Those are good numbers.
I know. And then he fell off 60, 59, 22. And obviously, you can't say 17 because that's a good number for how early it is in the season. But,
exactly.
I mean, the past 3 years, it has been concerning that he has not been able to go out there. I wish the best for Kevin Love. I hope he's healthy. I hope he is able to not be a detriment to a team, at least health-wise, when it comes to his later years of his contract. But I would worry trading for him, and I think his value is lower than people expect. If the Cavs get a first-rounder that is unprotected, or at least better than lotto protected, better than lotto protected, I would be surprised. If their best piece that they're getting, if we're looking at outside like contracts, like a Johnson and Kaminsky flip, contracts and a lotto protected pick, I would be shocked. That's if we're talking strictly value. I think that's all it takes for Kevin Love. And if it's going to go up, it's going to be going up because of a bargain or because of at least back and forth, like raising the prices of NBA
bidders.
teams. Yeah, multiple bidders. Thank you. Bidding will drive up the price of Kevin Love, not Kevin Love's actual play.
Then for the Suns, would you like this trade? Because I didn't, but you may. Where they'd get K Love, but they got to give up Tyler Johnson, Mikal Bridges, Frank, and Cam Johnson.
I wouldn't give up
Frank.
Mikal. And
Frank
Why would you give up?
Kaminsky.
Yeah, why would you? No, just do Tyler Johnson and Frank. I already said that. Give up Tyler Johnson and Frank and a projected 20.
Okay. Well, this one I threw out because it didn't have a draft pick. That's why I didn't even throw it out there, because on Cleveland I want that draft pick.
You could keep Mikal Bridges. Don't fucking do that. Let us know your thoughts.
Yeah, I'm mad on that one.
He's gonna be a better bench piece. Like, I mean, he's a guy that's not gonna like hurt.
No, I'm just saying. Like, I think the two pieces he mentioned, and then I think I think it might be Mikal and like a lotto protected. I wouldn't be surprised if that was the deal. If you take Mikal out of there, it's whatever.
And you know what we ended up arguing about? 6 spots.
Yep.
We argued that you said lotto protected and I said top 20.
Yep. And you're telling me either way it's gonna curse the fucking Suns for the next 3 years. So that's
I just think that's what teams are. I think there's a reason why it's going to be. I like. Do you think he's going to be traded on December 15th?
No. I have no idea when he's going to get traded. I think the fact that he was already benched, basically, means sooner rather than later.
I think he gets
the
traded
15th
this
could
year.
be interesting.
When was he benched?
I think
He's out today because of an illness.
illness. That's why I'm serious. Like that's why I think it could be sooner. Some people, I was looking through their subreddit. It's pretty funny. They're definitely reading into the illness.
Dude could be sick. It's flu season. Get your flu shots and let us know what you think down below in the comments about Kevin Love being traded. Another 40-minute segment. Great.